As an artist, I think it's so important to highlight the trust and comfortability that a client feels when they work with us and how open discussions can really deepen the experience of getting tattooed. In this series, I explore and engage in honest and open conversations with my special guests through the therapeutic process of tattooing. Tattoos are more than just an art, it's a connection. Welcome to Tattoos and Tribulations. Hey guys, and welcome to Tattoos and Tribulations. Today I'm joined by my friend Robbie, who is a motion designer from Scarborough. I've known Robbie since he was in a band with Sam from episode 1, and it's been really cool to see his progress and growth throughout his career. And now as a motion designer, I'm privileged to see his work in all sorts of formats, including billboards in Dundas Square. And today we're going to be talking about freelancing and upping your rate and what that really means. Something that I really admire about Robbie is his sternness and his rate, and I want him to share his perspective on that so that we can have a better understanding of what it means for us to up our rate as well. Today, Robbie is going to get a balisong, which is a butterfly knife from the Philippines, on his hand right here. Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself while I put this on you?
I am a motion designer now. I work full-time and transitioned from a couple years long career of freelancing, which is a very daunting transition, but I'm out here. We're currently working in the esports space. I transitioned from working with a bunch of content creators. It's really odd coming to grips with how things work in the real world and the 9-to-5 world. It's really nuts.
And is that something that you ever pictured for yourself, working a 9-to-5 as a freelancer?
No, that's too edgy for that.
When talking about my rate, I find that the best thing to do is to imbue confidence when you speak to your clients, and this really helps weed out the people who aren't your potential clients and the people who are serious about working with you. So how do you go about that process for yourself?
I think I got kind of lucky because working in the content creator space, you can know how serious somebody is just because of their follower count or something. But to answer that question, I definitely take references. I try to find some sort of trust, whether it's through someone else or through maybe even just watching their streams or knowing them as a person and like how important they think their social media is. Another thing I think about is, can I blast this person on Twitter if something goes wrong?
You gotta make sure that you can hold this person accountable.
Exactly, yeah, perfect. That looks so sick. I'm so hyped.
Yeah, me too.
When I discuss my rate, it honestly depends on the person. I like to gauge the energy first. Like, some people are a lot more professional than other people. Sometimes people will ask me my rates. Sometimes we won't even talk about it until after the brief. I think an important thing is also communicating when you're going to talk about it. Sometimes I'll say like, I'll give you a timeline and I'll give you like my proposition for this, and then after we can talk about payment. And it's also important how you word it too. You don't want to be like, let's talk money.
Yeah. As soon as you bring up money, you can tell that there's a little bit of hesitation with you and the client. Even though they know that they're paying you for your service, it still takes them aback knowing that they have to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Go, right?
Yeah, let's run it. It's weird.
Yeah, right? So when it comes to discussing money, do you find that that's an awkward conversation to have?
It can be. I can definitely sense when the person I'm talking to is uncomfortable talking about money. Going into those conversations, I tell myself that I'm responsible for kind of setting that energy level of comfort. I have to kind of gauge how much I have to guide the person talking the way that we both should be talking responsibly about money.
Because this client has to know that they have to respect you and your work and what you're charging, but you also have to go into it knowing that the client can be sensitive.
Exactly. Yeah. And especially in the content creator space where there's a lot of younger people, teenagers who don't really know how to talk about rates professionally. So I have to keep that in mind as well.
How do you feel about people who offer exposure?
That's some shit. That's all I can say about it. That's some shit. Don't do that. I guess some instances where people kind of swing it. It happens often in the content creator space and the gaming space where the brand would be like, do a fan art contest. There are some cases when it's good, but some cases where you clearly are like being scummy about this and like you can really tell. Here's an example. Riot Games, for those who don't know, they made League of Legends and Valorant. They recently put out a Twitter post that was like, hey, we need a new Twitter header, but we specifically want it to be made in MS Paint. Specifically want it to be like meme worthy. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. And then there are other companies, like, you know, they're big ass companies and you know they're big in the esports space, but they still do shit like, oh, we're gonna pick a winner and then we're gonna hire them or we're gonna give them $100. Like, that's not nearly enough for someone's 1920 by 1080 full landscape picture. Like, that's fucked.
So do you want to talk about imposter syndrome, and is that something that's affected you? And for people who don't know, imposter syndrome is when you don't think that your work is worthy of the success that you've come to.
That's a good way to put it. It's hard to understand when imposter syndrome is hitting you. And it's a term that's thrown around a lot. It differs from person to person. So it's hard to tell when you're having imposter syndrome. And I think that is an important first step to take in dealing with that. I have a Capricorn rising. I enjoy showing off and I enjoy showing people my success. You have to define what success means to you. Yeah. To me, if a part of success means perception, how people take it and how people are happy for you, then I can easily access that.
That you have a lot of support.
Yeah, I have a lot of support and I have a good outlet. And I've built up my social media to a point where where I can take advantage of it.
When it comes to viewing your own work, when is it time to do a quality check? Like, okay, my work is good enough and I deserve to be paid for it.
For me, it was when I can imagine using my own work in my own streams or like in my own videos. And I think another part of it is just honestly just having fun. When I was making skate videos 10 years ago, I would put motion graphics into my videos. Looking back now, they were shit, but at the time when I was making them, I was like, yo, this is so fun.
Yeah, this is so sick. Enjoying yourself in the process.
Exactly, yeah. If I have fun doing something, then I'm proud of my own experience and I'm proud of the fun that I had. So I enjoy sharing the fact that I had fun rather than sharing the outcome. Yeah,
I agree. I definitely like to show off the process of how I got there and like the excitement that I got from learning something new. I would never want people to think that we're gloating.
Yeah, exactly. That's especially apparent in creatives.
So when did you know that your stuff was good enough to be priced at a certain rate?
I like to think that I have good taste, just graphics and motion in general. Honestly, the more you watch stuff, the more you watch movies and the more you play games, the more you can see quality. If you're making stuff and you feel like it's at that level, then that's kind of it. And you just gotta shoot a little higher.
A lot of it for me was faking it till I made it, you know what
That
I mean?
too.
Convincing myself that I was good enough to charge that much, and then once the clientele came with it, I was more comfortable in that rate.
Fake it till you make it was probably the best advice that I got in college, and also the best advice that I got from Christine, my partner.
Oh, shout outs to Christine!
Yeah, the time I spent in the art community, that was a big thing too. A lot of the people that I admire would say that to me, and I didn't really understand it until I started questioning my own quality of my work.
And it's really good to be introspective about your own work. It's good to be critical about your own work. It's very good to share it with your community as well so you can get feedback. It's always good to get constructive criticism from people and not to take that personally.
On the topic of criticism and showing your work to others, I think it's super important to be able to compartmentalize mentally what you're taking in and kind of filtering. Like someone looks at my motion and they're like, this feels like it's not heavy enough or like it's not impactful enough. I can understand that and I can see that in my own work. We're both looking at the same thing. The person that's giving me criticism isn't looking at me as a person.
You're looking at your work for that project specifically.
Exactly, yeah.
What are some signs that you have personally found in your own work that you've taken in stride and said, okay, I deserve to charge, $100 an hour, for example?
There's a lot of factors that go into that. Do you need to raise your rates or do you want to raise your rates? For me, it was a need. Then I kind of made a rule for myself that was like, every time I take on a new client, I'm just gonna raise my rates by like $25 or something. And it's worked out. But I also think that in terms of your own quality and how you feel about your own work, if you position yourself and you can kind of see your own position in comparison to others that are also working in your space, then you can kind of see if you should raise your rates or if it makes sense to. For example, if I'm working and I know like 4 other motion designers that are popular on Twitter in the gaming space and their rates are like similar to mine or something, but I know that my work is better than theirs.
Yeah. And that's okay to say. You can always know that your work is better than other people's as long as it's not harming them.
Exactly, yeah, it's a good way to put it. So knowing that, then I'm like, okay, I can raise my rates and it'll work out for me. At the very start of my freelance career, I randomly got a DM from Disguised Toast's assistant. For those who don't know who Disguised Toast is, he's like one of the most popular streamers right now. Randomly messaged me and they're like, yo, do you want to do something for Disguised Toast? Like, what the hell, sure. So that kind of skyrocketed me into not only feeling confident, but also having that connection of all these big content creators. So it's a lot about social circles.
And putting your work out there, because if you never do, no one's ever going to see it.
Exactly. Yeah. Accessibility is
everything.
Yeah, it's huge. If you don't make it easy for someone to look at your work, it might not be worth it.
That goes to show as well your level of confidence with how you are portraying your work and what you think it deserves.
It's an opportunity to also showcase your voice, what kind of a person you are and what kind of a person you are to work with. That looks so clean. Holy shit. Good job.
Thanks.
After that Disguised Toasting, that's when I realized the importance of advertising yourself and making it easy for other people to see. I kind of just put myself out there in terms of like, I would join Discords for designers and stuff. There's a lot of people who know other people already. Making friends is really important. Networking was a thing that really boosted my career. Holy shit, that hurts. After knowing a bunch of other designers in the space, when they're busy, they need people who they can trust to give work to from the clients that also trust them.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to break their trust. And showing that you can be reliable and that you want to be reliable to other people is really, really huge in networking.
All in all, I just want to mention that your work is an amalgamation of all of these years of unclocked time that's gone into practicing to make your work that good. So you deserve to charge what you think you deserve.
When you're going through this journey of being a freelancer and trying to get where you want to be, it's hard for you to put that into perspective and bunch it all up into a number. It's hard for people to think about themselves in a way that's subjective, that can be equated to money.
Your reward system doesn't have to solely rely on monetization. However, it is very important that you give your work the respect it deserves.
It's a really complicated topic actually, Dan.
Yeah.
Because there's so many sides to it.
Yeah, you don't want to be a person who overcharges and fear that you're not going to get clients, but at the same time, if you undercharge, people aren't going to respect you for the artist that you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah. It's never black and white.
Yeah, have a look.
Holy shit.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it.
Sick.
Oh my god. Honestly, the most important thing is fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And also make friends.
Make friends,
Yeah,
that's
make
always
friends
a
is
good one. It's okay to be shy, but
There
you
you
should
go.
be confident. I just want to thank Robbie again for coming in today and donating a piece of his skin to my project. If you'd like to check out more of his work, you can follow him on Twitter at Future with Jetpacks, which will be linked down below. Give Robbie some love and give Robbie some life. Thank you so much for coming in to talk to me today.
Yeah, thank you. Wait, can I crack my back first actually?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah. That is painful. It's like someone's tickling like my bones.